How's your sense of balance? Is it good? Or, not so good. I think I pulled a hammy. As you saw, balance is a key skill that many of us ignore until it's too late and we fall, injuring or even killing ourselves. By the way, the hammy is good. Now, the good news is that you can improve your balance using some basic exercises, and with that improved balance, increase your athletic performance, strength, mobility, and longevity. Welcome back. This video is all about balance, what it is, why it's important, and how to improve it. Let's get into it. Now, most of you probably know that balance is important for all of us in our daily activities. Without a good sense of balance, we risk serious injury and even death due to a fall, as well as a reduction in our athletic performance in almost every sport. Now, good balance translates to better performance on and off the field of play. Now, building our balance can help us on a daily basis, whether we're just walking around the house or running on a rocky trail. A strong sense of balance can help us live longer, particularly in reducing the amount of falls that we experience throughout life, but especially as we get older. So, when we're talking about balance, what do we mean? Well, balance from a physiological standpoint is divided into two main types, static and dynamic. Each type of balance is important to us, and each type of balance applies in virtually every activity we do on a day-to-day basis. So here's a quick definition. Dynamic balance is the ability to move outside of the body's base of support while maintaining posture control. Well, in other words, the ability to remain balanced while we're moving, whether we're moving just a single limb or if we're walking down the street. The other type of balance is static balance, and that's the ability to maintain your body's center of mass or remain balanced while standing still. Now, both of these come into play in every activity we do over the course of the day, and there are definite benefits to improving our sense of balance and our ability to balance, specifically by adding balance training or balance exercises to our regular daily workout routine. So there's lots of benefits, but here are some key benefits that specifically come from improving our sense of balance. First is general body awareness. In other words, knowing where our body is and how we're oriented within the three dimensions, up, down, left, right, forward, and backward, those three dimensions in which we live. Now, you may have heard of the word proprioception. Well, that's basically our body's awareness of where everything is in those dimensions. So training and building our balance allows us to improve our body awareness, which greatly decreases the likelihood of injury. The higher level of overall body awareness we have, the better we're going to be able to react to something that throws us off balance. We'll have a much higher odds of recovering, and instead of falling, we may stumble, catch our balance, and continue on our way instead of laying on the ground. The next benefit that balance training can do for us is to improve our coordination. Now, it's tied to body awareness, but training your balance requires your entire body to work together, otherwise you'll fall or stumble. So the improved coordination that comes with balance training is going to be transferred into everyday life. Body awareness and coordination kind of tie together. Knowing where our body is in space and being able to coordinate our movements to stay upright as we move about throughout the world. Now, next benefit is just general stability of our joints. Training our balance promotes stable ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders, all the major joints of our body, and it can really prevent a large array of injuries, including sprained ankles and knee problems. If our balance is better, there's going to be less chance that we're going to roll an ankle, sprain an ankle, twist our knee, or anything like that. With improved balance, we reduce the odds that we get injured, bottom line. The fourth benefit of balance training is the reduced reaction time. In other words, what we're talking about is shortening the amount of time it takes our body to react to a stimulus. So say, for example, happily walking down the street and you happen to slip or stumble. Bam! In a flash, your body needs to rebalance in order to prevent a fall. Now, by training balance and forcing our body to adapt to the ever-changing conditions that balance training provides, it learns to adjust quickly to those movements that could throw our body off balance. Over time, learning to adjust like that is going to result in improved and faster reaction time. And this faster reaction time improves our ability to perform in athletics, but also to perform in day-to-day life, maybe the most important sport. And as a result, we reduce our chances of falling or becoming injured. Now, this leads us to the last major benefit, probably the most important, and that is that balance training improves long-term health outcomes. Balance is key to helping us reduce the amount of falls and ultimately injuries that we suffer by falling. And this becomes vitally important the older and older we get. As we age, our balance naturally deteriorates, and that's something that we want to try to reduce or avoid if at all possible. The number of people, especially the elderly, that are injured or killed from falls is truly staggering. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, 1 out of every 3 adults aged 65 or older falls on a yearly basis. Now, between 20 and 30% of those falls lead to a moderate or serious injury, including fractures and head injuries. Now, obviously, those can be life-altering or life-ending injuries. In fact, falls are the leading cause of accidental death in adults age 65 and older. Yep, you heard me right. Falls are the leading cause of accidental death in the elderly. So, having a bad fall, especially when you're old, can result in a much more negative outcome than if we were to experience that same fall, say when we were in our 20s or 30s. The elderly aren't the only ones that fall. Obviously, all of us fall, but in general, it's a much lower rate than in the elderly. But that being said, falls do happen in about 10% of younger and middle-aged people every year. But the risk for falling and suffering an injury as a result of that fall increases dramatically with age. So it's something that we need to be thinking about and doing what we can to train our body to be better able to resist falling. Any way you look at it, falls aren't good, no matter the age. So anything we can do to reduce those falls is one of the key components to living a long and healthy life. Ultimately improving our health span and maybe even being able to compete in the centenarian decathlon. Okay, we've talked about the importance of balance and how it can increase athletic performance, reaction time, joint stability, and also reduce the incidence and severity of falls, especially as we get older. So, how do you train your balance? Well, fortunately, there's a lot of great exercises out there that you can use and do to build your balance. But instead of millions of possibilities that you'd get by doing a search on the internet, I've settled on 5 specific balance exercises that I've started to use in my current workout routine. Now, I think these 5 will give you a really good start at improving your balance, and more importantly, nearly everyone should be able to do these at some level or another. The goal here is to come up with some general exercises that nearly anyone can do in order to improve their balance. And I think these 5 fit that bill. Now, obviously, if you do balance exercises and you train your balance, you improve your sense of balance. At some point, these basic exercises will not be challenging anymore as you will have advanced beyond this level. Great. That's the goal, to build a strong base of balance that can be expanded with further and additional, more complicated training. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick review of these 5 exercises. Okay, let's go through these 5 basic balance training exercises. And you notice I'm standing in between the posts of my weightlifting cage. So as you start these especially, have something nearby, either in a door frame or a post or something that you can grab onto just to catch yourself as you're doing these. You don't want to topple over, okay? So the next thing is go ahead and take off your shoes and your socks and do these barefooted. You might as well use your feet. That's what they're designed for. And by doing these workouts in bare feet, you will help your feet get stronger, more flexible, and get better at being able to balance. And then the other thing is do it on a nice firm surface. I've got some thick, dense workout mats here, so it's a nice stable surface. Once you get used to this, you can always introduce more difficulty by adding in a padded surface or standing on a towel or something that's a little wobbly. But to start off, start on a nice flat, firm surface, barefoot, with some sort of support to catch yourself. Okay, first exercise is just a simple single leg lift. So stand on one leg and then lift the other one up. Now you might only be able to do this for a few seconds at a time before you have to catch yourself. When I started, I had to do that. Now I can pretty much do it at will and just work up to maybe where you can get to 20 or 30 seconds on each leg. One leg and the other. You may notice that I'm a little less stable on this leg, my right leg. Everybody has a dominant leg. My most stable leg is my left leg, so it's easier for me to do the exercises on my left leg. The right leg is a little more unstable. I can feel the tendons and muscles kind of firing a little bit more on my right leg than my left. But that's the first drill, just a basic single foot. Lift up your foot and stand on the other one. So do that for a while. The next one is still single leg, but we're going to lift the hip up higher. So stand on one leg and lift the other leg up so your thigh is parallel with the ground. And then stand like that. Try to keep your toes pointed forward. Your hips or pelvis kind of lined level. Don't tilt if you can avoid it. And then to make it a little more difficult, you can grab and pull. Adds a little bit of tension. Okay, you can do that for one leg. And this is a more difficult one for me. Right leg. But do that with each leg. The third one is we're going to introduce a little bit of that dynamic balance while moving. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a leg swing. So stand on one leg and then just swing the other leg back and forth. As you get better at this, you'll be able to swing the leg farther and farther. This is a great warm-up for a walk or a jog. Kind of gets the quads and the glutes and the hamstrings kind of firing. So you can do it on one leg and the other. There you go. That's the third one. The fourth one is we're going to introduce a hip hinge. And it's basically a single leg kind of forward reach. So imagine you had a chair or something a little bit in front of you and you're going to bend over and touch that while balancing on one foot. So I'll start on my left leg, the easier one for me. You just stand up and then you just hinge at the hip, bend down, come up, down, up. Do this with both legs. This one's going to be a little harder. Down, up. And this will fire your hamstrings and your glutes as well. Okay? If you can get to the point where you can do 6 or 8 of those before you go out for a walk or a run, once again, that's a great warm-up exercise. And the last one is you need a piece of equipment, not much, but there's some of these little latex resistance bands. You can get a set of 5 for about $10 or so. I'll post a link in the description to the set I got off of Amazon. But I'm just using the light setting or the light band. So you're just going to wrap it around your ankles, okay? And what we're going to do is balance on one leg and then abduct the other leg out. So stand on your left leg and move the right leg out. Now this introduces resistance, which forces your body to fight against that. Okay, you can do the other leg as well. So keep your leg straight, try to keep level as much as possible and balance against that. And while you're at it, you can also do forward and backward. Once again, a great way to kind of get the muscles firing before you exercise. All right, there you go. 5 basic exercises to start building your balance. Do these, if you can, a little bit every day. Just work on it and slowly and actually very quickly your balance will probably improve. I know for me, the first few times I was pretty unstable, but with repetition comes quick improvements. So try to do a little bit every day. Shouldn't take you more than a few minutes. And to introduce a little more difficulty, do any of these exercises with your eyes closed. Closing your eyes reduces that sense, and your body has less information to work with. So that's one way to increase the difficulty. The other thing is to stand on something a little less stable, like a towel or a pad. Speaking of that, I have ordered a balance training tool that I will be getting probably in the next week or so. And I will get used to using it. It comes with I think a program on how to start building your balance. So I will use that for a few weeks, and I'll post a review here on the channel. So if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and click that bell for notifications to be notified when we do post a review of that. But there you go, 5 basic exercises to start building your balance. All right, there you go. 5 basic exercises to get you moving towards better balance and a better life. So stay tuned for an update to this topic once I get that new balance training tool I talked about and have had a chance to use it and put together a review. That'll probably be in a few weeks. So be sure to subscribe to the channel to be part of the community we're building here. And if you can, go ahead and nudge that thumbs up to help YouTube help us help more people improve their balance. Now, I'd be interested to know in the comments if you are doing any balance training and how it has helped you or not. And if you want to strengthen your feet, be sure to check out my review of the Xero Prio, a minimalist shoe that you can use to build foot strength and mobility. That's it for now. Hope you found the information useful. Thanks for watching, and until next time, be well.